Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a combination of first impressions for two products. So the first product we're going to be trying out is the Lancome Teint Idole, French, you know, Ultra Wear Antioxidant Sunscreen Broad Spectrum 15 up to a 24-hour color wear and comfort, transfer resistant for all skin types. And I got them color 215 Buff N, which I'm assuming the N stands for neutral. So I'm sorry for the glare, but this is what the box looks like. This was definitely a Michelle Wong purchase recommendation. She did a video on this, and I had actually asked her if she would recommend this foundation to people with combination and oily skin, and she said absolutely, that it's more like a satin dry down, but it's very comfortable, and it expires. This is so strange. This says it expires September 2021, which means in 2 months. I just bought this. I'm gonna have to give them a call because they are going to have to send me another one. This expiration date should be 2022. Okay, anyway, so the packaging is super nice. Frosted glass bottle. I really like this, very luxurious. The top has that gold top. If you guys love this and this is your holy grail foundation, let me know. I kind of guessed my color, kind of went with Michelle's skin tone. We have the same kind of skin tone, so she recommended 215 Buff and another one, but the second one I felt would be a little too dark for me since I haven't really gotten any sun, so I ended up going with 215 Buff Neutral because I have a neutral undertone. And I have never tried this foundation. You get 1.0 fluid ounces, and honestly the reason why I purchased it was because I kind of wanted to try a new foundation, and I heard really good things about this, and they were having a 30% off sale, so what better time to try that foundation. So the next thing I will be featuring on in this video will be the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look of Love in a palette. I have been mentioning that I got this, and I haven't been able to try it on or do like a first impressions. So I'm gonna use my little concealer card that I got with the order, and I'm going to use number 4 Fair, which is actually the exact same shade as my Light Wonder Glow foundation from Charlotte Tilbury. And I used this in my previous video, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use the last color on this card that is my shade. Clean my sponge. So let's go in and put this on. So I just kind of wanted to update you on my samples. You guys, if you guys have been following me for a long time, you guys know that I had a ton of samples earlier last year that I made it a point to use up this year, and I ended up getting through all my samples really. The only thing I had left were mascara samples. Those do take a much longer time to get through. Mascara does last longer. So just patting that under the eye. And now that I have done some damage at the Nordstrom anniversary sale, we may be back at square one, samples wise. But anywho, so I tried this concealer on yesterday when I had filmed my get ready with me / review video, and this foundation, it's all right. I mean, this concealer, it's okay. It didn't wow me. I feel like I get a little bit more coverage with other concealers, but again, this is like, you know, the sample card. You don't get a lot of product in here, but according to the back of the card, that's the little tube it comes. Has a sponge, you twist it. I have already a bad experience with a light wand with the light wand products, because it's like the same thing. You squeeze it, sponge, mess. So I'm not really sure about that. Leave me a comment down below if you think that that is like the most amazing liquid concealer you've ever used. All right, let's go ahead and use this foundation, shall we? I do like a light coverage. Let me get myself situated here because I have a ton of things. Hopefully today it's a little bit more quiet than yesterday. We won't have any, hopefully we won't have any surprise visits. Let's hope that we can just, you know, get through it. I'll bring my mirror over here because the viewfinder is for people with like eagle eye vision, which I don't have. All right, so I'm going, since this is like a full cover wear comfort foundation from what I'm understanding on this bottle, I'm gonna go in with just one drop and let's see, because when I wear my Chanel Ultra Le Teint foundation, I only need one pump. So I'm gonna blend this out. So I like 24-hour wear foundations. The thing is that they tend to, most of them tend to be full coverage. And right now, from what I'm getting with this foundation, seems to be, looks to me like a medium to full coverage, which is why I only use one pump, because I still like for my skin imperfections to kind of shine through. I don't like to look like I'm wearing a lot of foundation, you know? So that's why I only do one pump. Now, for the sake of this video, I'll do two for you guys. But at this point right now, I am really comfortable with just one pump. So you can still see my skin imperfections, a little bit of acne scarring there. I've got, you know, like a little face mole or freckle. I'm not sure what you call that. Blends nicely. It does have a slight scent to it. I'm gonna go in with the second pump. And it does a good job of letting out a little bit of a product at a time. Literally, it's a pea size. So It does have a slight fragrance, disappears immediately when you start blending this out. And from the looks of it, it's the color. This is my color. Not my summer shade, my normal shade. And I know that we're in the summer, but I haven't really gotten much sun. I haven't been outside. I do plan to have a beach day pretty soon. All right, so this is 2 layers. Of the foundation. Can definitely see my acne scars much less. With the second layer, I definitely would not apply. Let me bring this down my neck a little bit because, you know, with that second layer, it really, all right, blends like a dream, feels really nice, dries down. I wouldn't say it doesn't dry down like super quickly. It gives you time to work with the product, but it does have a nice satin finish. I wouldn't consider this to be super matte. Like my Chanel Ultra Le Teint has like a little satin finish. So far so good, very comfortable. I'm gonna do a wear test today, which means I will check in after at least 8 hours of wear and let you know how that's going. Because I have combination to oily skin for those of you who are unaware of my skin type. So I tend to gravitate towards foundations that help with that. Next, the famous Charlotte Tilbury palette that I have been talking about for like the past 2 videos. There's like a sticker film on this. Ooh. And so satisfying. But before we do that, let me set my face. I'm gonna go in with my Givenchy Libre Prism Libre powder using my Too Faced Mr. Right face brush, picking up a little bit of product. Now, because this has a satin finish, I don't need to use too much setting powder. Just gonna lightly dab it all over my face. And under my eyes, because I did put some of that Charlotte Tilbury concealer and I don't want it to crease, you know? All right, bring it down my neck. Let's give the neck a little bit of love. Love. Okay. Okay, that feels nice. Now let's go in with the palette. So, up close look. First of all, the packaging, beautiful. And which one did I end up getting? There's 2 palettes that launched. I got the lighter one. I got Pretty Blushed Beauty is the one that I got. This was the lighter of the 2. One was for lighter skin tones. The other one was for deeper skin tones. For those of you who are new to my channel, I film with natural lighting. So, let me back it up a little bit. The camera's getting a little dark. So this is what the palette looks like up close. All right. The reason I jumped on this is because the face powder is her famous flawless face powder that everybody loves, that I love. It's amazing. And I love her bronzer. And I just love this color scheme. It's somewhere between cool toned, pinkish kind of vibes, because to me this is a cool tone color. And so let me stop talking and start putting some stuff on, because all right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I powdered my face, but I already set my concealer, but I'm gonna go in with my Real Techniques contour brush, and I'm gonna go into the face powder because I wanna concentrate that down here under the concealer. I find that yesterday, because I didn't do this step, this particular concealer started to crease a little bit in the corner. So maybe just a little too dewy for me. I love this face powder. I feel like if you've never tried Charlotte Tilbury makeup, this is, I think, the perfect palette to start with, because you have some of her best selling formulas in here. You have her bronzer, the face powder, and her eyeshadow formula is just amazing. You guys know I really, really love her eyeshadow formula. Now I'm gonna go in with my Bare Minerals Blooming blush brush. This is an angled brush, and I'm gonna go into the bronzer, and I'm gonna bronze my face because can we just talk about how pale I am right now? Okay, so this is a really, really nice bronzer, and you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of her Star Film and Glow bronzer. It's beautiful. It really is. So I'm gonna do the edge of my face. Let me do the other side. Blending that in. Let's do the forehead. To hold my hair back in order to get my hairline in there. You don't want that separation. It doesn't leave a white cast in your hair or anything like that. It blends in really nicely. So I like a very subtle bronze. You guys know, if you guys have been following me for a while, I like very subtle, barely there kind of color. All right, I feel like I've given my face enough love with the bronzer. Next, we are going to go in with the blush in here, which is the Cheek Pop. I'm gonna use my Real Techniques blush brush. This is number 400. This contour brush is like one of the original Real Technique brushes, so this one doesn't have a number, but these new ones now have numbers. And I'm just gonna go into that beautiful cheek shade, and I'm going to apply that obviously all over my cheeks. Now, you guys know that I really don't like luminous blushes because I have, you know, combo to oily skin, and her blushes tend to be very luminizing. which is not my favorite. So I would have to say that I would have preferred something a little more matte, but you know, we'll just go with it. And yes, I have to make the duck face because I don't have prominent cheeks, so I have to make this face to find them. All right, blush is applied. Let's go in with a little bit of highlight, and to do so, I'm also going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury little mini brush sets. This came out 2 years or 3 years ago during the holidays. Yeah, 2 years ago. And I ended up purchasing this because I really wanted it and I missed out on it, and I found that it came back in stock on her website, and it actually happened to be $10 cheaper than the ones that were sold last Christmas. And I don't know if it had to do with the packaging. So it's this really pretty magnetic packaging. I like it because it takes up a lot less space in your makeup bag than the green one that launched last year for Christmas. And you get the same brushes in here that you did this year. These sets are always the same. They bring the same brushes. You get a little powder brush, you get a blender brush, you get a smudger brush, and you get this is considered a lip brush from what I've been told, but I actually use this smaller brush to apply the inner corner shade, so because I don't use brushes for my lipsticks. All right, so I'm gonna use the powder brush to apply the highlight shade in this palette right here. I would have used this for the bronze, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna apply that on my cheekbones. Now I go in with a light hand because Charlotte Tilbury products are very pigmented, and immediately you see that beautiful sheen. And what I love about her highlights is that it never has chunky glitters, it's never too much, it's never over the top. It's just that really subtle sheen. And I have very small cheekbones, like this is it right here. So I really like that. I do have to say that the blush really complements nicely the particular bronzer shade they chose for this palette. It's a very soft pink, which goes with that soft pink vibe that's happening here, you know? All right, let's go ahead and move on to eyeshadow. I realized that I did not bring my eyeshadow primer. Let me go prime my lids. I'll be right back. Okay, so I applied already my eyeshadow primer from Bare Minerals. This is Bright and Flawless. Now let's go into the eyeshadow. So, okay, this is the back of the palette. Usually the sticker is a square, but this is in the shape of a heart. How cute, nice little detail. So according to the back of this, it says that the first shade is the brightened shade, the second shade is the enhanced shade, and the third shade is the smoke shade. This looks really sparkly. That's all I'm gonna say right there. So I'm not sure why that's the #1 shade. That to me, when I look at this, should be the last shade. We're just gonna follow this. I'm using the little blender brush that came in the set, and we are dipping into that shade with a brush. Okay, very, very sparkly. That's where I'm at here. very sparkly. I'm not gonna go in my finger because again, as I suspected, this is more of a pop shade. No. I'm gonna wipe my brush on a little towel that I have here. Let's switch this up. I'm actually gonna use the second shade, which is considered the enhanced shade, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that on the crease as a transition shade. Because, no. I do have to say the formula is nice. The color though is lighter than I anticipated. And I'm gonna take that all the way up to the brow bone. That's how light this shade is. It doesn't look as light in the pan actually. And I'm gonna apply it all over the lid, guys. That's where we're going with this. Now there's some videos I watched where this pop shade was like coming out of the pan in the other palette, the one for the deeper skin tone. All right, so you have a nice little wash of color with that. I'll give you guys swatches at the end of this so you guys can see it. Then I'm gonna go in with the smudger brush, and I'm gonna go into the smoke shade, and I'm gonna concentrate that on the outer corner of my eye and just kind of do like that V effect. Let's do the same thing to the other eye. Just leaving that color in the outer corner to enhance, and then let's bring some of that underneath the lash line. Really nice eyeshadow formula, blends nicely. I haven't even dug in with my finger on that first shade, so we'll see. It seems chunky. It looks chunky in the pan. So we've enhanced the outer corner. Now I'm going to clean this brush on the towel that I have here. I'm gonna dip into the smoke shade because I wanna get a little bit of that color to blend into the crease. Ever so lightly, just to kind of diffuse this area here so that there's no harshness and it kind of all blends together. So I'm going in super, super light. Just to seamlessly create that blend there. And I have smudged a little bit of this under my eye. I'm gonna do a little bit more. I feel like we can afford to go a little bit more dramatic. There. Okay, I'm gonna apply with my ring finger. I'm gonna go into that first shade. All right, looks chunky in the pan, but actually on my finger it's not chunky at all. It actually turns into this, there's like a hair flying, like a lint in the air. It actually turns into this metallic-y formula. And I'm going to just concentrate that in the center of the lid. Let's go ahead and do the other eye. Really pretty. Really packs a punch. However, this is definitely not a color I would have applied first. It's just way too metallic, really strong, and it's not something that I would have wanted to lay down all over the lid first. I am going to use the little tiny little pencil lip brush in this set. I'm gonna go into that first shade, and I'm gonna ever so slightly highlight the brow bone, see if that works. It does not how I want it. Actually, it's too, the first shade's a little too metallic to use as a brow bone highlight. It is just meant for the center of the lid, really. I am gonna apply a little bit on the inner corner though. That looks nice. You have a very hard time picking up this shade with a brush, so I don't pick up as much color with a brush. With the finger, that's what it's meant to be used with your finger. You guys know how much I love that, right? But whatever, it's one shade, you know. I can deal with it. So I applied a little bit on the inner corner, very subtle. Next, I am going to go in with some eyeliner. I'm gonna be using the Charlotte Tilbury Rock and Coal eyeliner in Barbella, right? Am I saying that right? I can hardly read. Barbarella, yeah. The print on this is really tiny. Brown, it's a brown eyeliner. I'm gonna put some of this on my top lashes. I'm going to apply some Bare Minerals eyebrow gel to my brows in the shade Coffee. A little bit of my Chanel eyeliner to the bottom waterline just to give it that brightness, and my Bare Minerals Lash Domination mascara to my top lashes, and I'll be right back. All right, so I did all that off of camera, but one thing I realized when I was applying my eyeliner was that although I couldn't use the first shade in the eyeshadow trio as a highlighting brow bone shade, I just went ahead and went in with a little bit of the face highlight, and I applied it to the brow bone. Worked really nicely. So that's the only step I did other than what I had instructed you guys that I was gonna do. Let me fix my hair. Okay, now let's get into the two lipsticks I purchased from this collection. I purchased Wedding Bells and Nude Romance. I broke the packaging on the bottom of this because it was really hard to take out. So let's go in with the first shade. I only purchased the refills because I already have a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick case. So the refills are cheaper than having to buy the full lipstick case, and then you just have all these cases, and what am I gonna do with them? So this is the Nude Romance lipstick. It has that beautiful heart embossed on the lipstick, and let's go ahead and apply. Oh, it has it in the back too. You see that? That's pretty. All right, let's go ahead and apply this one. Did I need another nude lipstick? No. Do I have an unnecessary amount? Yes. Typical, beautiful lipstick formula. Charlotte Tilbury really nails it out of the park with her lipsticks. I also like like the shape too of the bullet. It makes it really easy to apply. And so this is Nude Romance. All right, now let's try the other one, which is Wedding Bells. And this is what it looks like. The soft pink, you know, to go with the whole pink theme. It feels like the same formula as the other one. Although it feels like this one's a little bit more matte. Upon application, this is not the same lipstick formula. I think this is her matte formula. This is more of a Nude Romance with a creamy base. And this is more of like that matte satin kind of finish. Really pretty though. It looks more pink on the bullet than it does on the lip. I just realized I was at a weird angle there, sorry. All right, let's get into some swatches, shall we? Okay, so let's talk about swatches here. The first thing I want to address is the number 7 face powder. I left it on my finger because it's literally the color of my skin. It's very, very light. And it's this shade down here that you can barely see on my skin tone. So just want to leave it on my finger so you guys can see. That's the all over face powder. So the first swatch up here is that number 1 shade in the eyeshadow palette. And then we have that taupey number 2 shade in the eyeshadow palette that looks, do you guys see that? So let me just show you something. In the pan, does this not look like a cool toned shimmery taupe? It's not. That's not how it applies on the skin. It looks more pink on the skin. You guys see that? And then we have the smoke shade, which is number 3, which is that matte brown. This is the blush color right here. Beautiful pink. Soft, soft pink. And then we have the bronzer shade right here. And then ever so lightly, we have the highlight shade, which you can probably barely see. So let me swatch that on a different finger. This is the highlight shade. But when applied to the back of my hand, you can't see it as much. But it shows up really nicely on the skin. Now let's go ahead and compare this bronzer to the bronzer in her duo palette, the Film Star and Glow, and let's just see if it's the same thing. This is the Film Star Bronze and Glow palette, and these are the bronzers and highlighters I'm comparing to this palette. So let's get started. All right, so first bronzing shade here is from the Film Star and Glow palette. This bronzer has a much cooler undertone than the one in the Romance palette, which is the one we just used. This one's also more matte than the Sculpt color in the Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. This has more of a cooler undertone. It kind of has, to me, almost like a little bit of pink in it. And this is just much more warm and very matte. This highlight is the one from the Romance palette, and it's much, much brighter than the one in the Film Star and Glow palette, which is this shade right here, which you can barely see. But this highlight has a much pink, like it has a pinker undertone than the one in the Romance. The one in the Romance palette is brighter and has a more of a white undertone. Because my skin is so close to these highlight shades, I'm going to show them to you on my fingers. So this is the highlight from Film Star and Glow, and this is the highlighter from the Romance palette. One has a more yellow undertone. This one has more of like a pinky white undertone. Wonder if I swatch them on my hand. Yeah, you can see them a lot better on my actual hand. So it just depends what kind of undertone you prefer. Both of these bronzing shades work well with my skin tone. But I think that for the summer, I do gravitate to something warmer, a bronzer that's warmer versus cooler in tone and undertone. So honestly, if you pick up this palette formula wise, I love it. I really don't notice a difference in the highlight and bronzing shade formula wise, not shade wise. Between these two formulas, spot on. Eyeshadow formula, same amazing Charlotte Tilbury formula. I honestly, one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas on the market is Charlotte Tilbury, which is why I have a really hard time saying no to the palettes that she comes out with, because I know they're going to be just amazing and so easy to use. For the holidays, those quads that, you know, have that mother of pearl packaging, I'm definitely picking up one of those because I can't resist. I'm still thinking about the 12 pan palette just because it looks like she got a couple of the ones from last year and the one from the prior year that had launched with this collection, and the magical collection, the astral kind of theme, and she kind of mixed those two and put it in a palette. We'll see. I need to see more swatches of the palette. Hasn't come out yet, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. Anyways, I will check in with you guys later to take a look at how this Lancome foundation wears throughout the day. And you guys pretty much know that I love this palette. Recommend you guys pick one up if you're a sucker for Charlotte Tilbury palettes like I am. The little brush set works great. Same quality as the ones from last year. Really love this. I wanted to have a second set because they're so good for travel, and I use the green set all the time. All right, I'll be back. Hey guys, I am outside. It is really bright out here, but I wanted to show you this foundation in natural light. This is the 4-hour mark, and there's a little bit of shine on my nose, which is to be expected at around this time with a foundation that's not completely matte, but I have no shine on my cheeks. And usually I have just oils protruding in the cheek area, and it looks pretty good. I've sweat a little bit because my washer and dryer are outside, but no, this foundation is holding up really, really well. I'll check back in with you guys at the 8-hour mark. See you soon. Hey guys, so this is my 8-hour, what time is it? No, 9-hour check-in point. The foundation has held up nicely. I'm outside in natural light because it's just too, the sun has set a bit too much to film inside. So I hope you can hear me. There's a lot of background noise between the birds, the cars, the cicadas. I'm sure there's a lot of background noise, the wind, so I hope you can hear me. It has held up really nice. I do have quite a bit of shine on my nose, as you can see. There is no creasing. It looks pretty good, I have to say. It has worn very nicely. The eyeshadow look from earlier this morning has held up pretty nicely as well. Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows, I mean, you can't go wrong with them. They're always the best. If you guys are wondering what lip color I'm wearing right now, it's my Chanel liquid lipstick. And Mary Rose is the name of the shade. But yeah, I have to say, Michelle Wong has done it again. This foundation is a really good recommendation. I really like it. Update on customer service. So I gave them a call and they told me that they don't do exchanges. I would have to return the foundation, and because I got it during a friends and family sale that was going on and it was 30% off, I would then have to pay full price for the foundation. Sucks. So can I use this foundation in a month? Because it expires September of 2021. I don't know. Maybe I'll call back customer service and speak with the manager. We'll see. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this foundation. Do you like it? Like the wear? Anywho, that completes this video. Thank you so much for watching. And for first impressions on this foundation, I have to say, I am impressed and I really like it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time, guys.